Let's go raise the stakes. Let's go raise the stakes with JT and Kerry and JT. Let's go. Oh.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
How was that, you guys? What a custom track for you guys. Like, we were off to a bang, man. We're raising the stakes on everything, the audio, the video, everything.
It's so funny. I literally just created that with this AI program. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Let's go with it. So awesome. So Kerry here with Healing Humanity and
JT from the Poko Moonshine family. What's good, everybody?
hope everyone's doing well. This is our first ever Raise the Stakes podcast. We want to do something different. We want to do something fun. There's so many podcasts, live streams out there that just do carnivore questions and answers, and we want to have a little bit more fun, right, JT?
Absolutely. Life's all about having fun. If you ain't having fun, what are you doing?
Exactly. And I love the name. JT came up with the name Raise the Stakes. So we want to elevate the conversation. There's more on the line. You know, we're going to go all in like in a hand of poker. So
Yes, we really are live, news and info.
yeah. Oh, I don't even have the chat open here. So we are live. Absolutely. In today's episode, our first ever episode, I guess we'll do a couple little intros for folks that are new and they don't know your story, JT, or my story. We got some carnivore news. We got something I really want to talk about, JT, and that is you always call me a knucklehead. You're a deviant. And that sounds bad, right? What's your first impression? Well, I say deviant. You're like, geez.
Yeah,
It's actually, yeah, it's a very good thing. I've got a little clip I want to share. I touched on this a little bit in a video yesterday, and my good friend Stan, he was like, I really like the part about deviance. So we're going to get into that a little bit more in today's episode. We're going to hear JT's story, my story. We got a little bit of carnivore news, how to start carnivore, baby steps. We got people in the chat. The chat's just filling up. We got Primal Mike, Brett, who's your carnivore? So
good
maybe
morning, everyone. Everybody put a good morning in the chat. Let's go. Wake up.
Tell us where you're from. What's going on? So
Where are you from?
maybe we'll start out, JT. You want to give a little intro, tell a little bit about yourself, your background for those that aren't familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is JT. I'm from the Poko Moonshine family. I started carnivore about 200 and something days ago. I think about 200 and maybe 11 now. And it has totally, completely changed my life. I was always laying in the tub and my back hurt from an accident and my stomach hurt from IBS and I wasn't getting much sleep because I was paranoid to go to bed because I had sleep apnea. My sleep apnea literally almost killed me. So I went on the carnivore diet. I found it out through my buddy Kerry, and that 30 days was the most wild 30 days of my life because I felt better and better and better. And now I feel so good. I feel almost like an obligation to help share this carnivore diet information so other people can get on this diet and feel just as good as I do. So that's why I'm here right now, hanging with my buddy.
Nice. Love it. I just want to add to JT's little bio there. JT is wise beyond his years. Tell us about your coach, JT?
My coach is Bob Proctor. Rest in peace. He died a couple years ago, but he taught me so many beautiful things. I was just not a good person. I was just not thinking right. I had nothing going. I was just a damn mess, honestly, when I got to my coach. And I was so angry about everything. Like anything wouldn't go my way. I would just get so mad. And I attracted more of that stuff. And I just knew I wasn't making good decisions. And I went on YouTube and I typed in, how to get rid of anger. And I found this guy's video. And right underneath it was my coach's. So I clicked on his because I wasn't enjoying the one I was watching. And my coach was talking about vibrations and frequencies. And at first I was like, what is this dude talking about? But the more I listened to him, the more I started to understand that I was in a low vibration and I was attracting more low vibration, just bad stuff into my life. And you become what you think about also. So my coach told me I was just focusing too much on the negative things in life and I need to started to find the positive. He said any dumbbell can find what's wrong with every situation. He says the real winners find what's right in that situation, even if it's bad. because nothing's all bad, nothing's all good. That's why you've got the yin and the yang, the positive and the negative. Nothing's all positive, nothing's all negative. It's right in the middle. It's what we make out of it. So I've learned a lot from my coach, and I thank him. I know he's watching now. He's a spirit man. He can fly with his feet now. So God bless Bob. I know he's watching.
I love that stuff. JT's awesome. You guys, if you haven't checked out his channel, there's a link in the description below. You might be watching from his channel, but if you're watching from mine, yeah, JT, I love it, man. One of the biggest things I tell my girls, I guess I'll give everyone a little background on myself real quick. I'm the father of triplets plus one. And one of the things I always, if you ask the girls right now, JT, they'd be like, all right, dad, shut up about it right now. I always tell them, your life is a result of the decisions you make. Every single, you can go this way, you can go that way, but your life is a result. They're like, we get it already. I say it all the time, but man.
You have to keep saying it though. You have to, as a parent, especially.
Right. But in order to make the best decisions, what do you need? Wisdom. You need wisdom. So like I said, JT, you're wise beyond your years. I really appreciate you, buddy. I know we joke around a lot, but JT's been there for me. I've called him up like, hey, I got this big thing coming up. And I always get solid advice and wisdom and encouraging words and things like that. So,
and I'm honored when Kerry calls me up with something he needs help with. I'm like, cool, man. Like it's like a dream for me to coach people, and especially someone at a level that Kerry's at. It's a dream come true, man. He's a natural, man. You know, he's an elite performer, and he shows it every day. That's why he even comes up with this idea for the Healing Humanity diet, carnivore diet movie we're doing. Yes, man. That's all from being an elite performer, and that's going to lead to so many people's lives being changed with this documentary, right, bud?
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about that some more, how you're a deviant, I'm a deviant, and why that's a good thing, and how that's going to, because JT, when you say healing humanity, I was saying this the other day, I'm like how audacious is that? You're going to heal all of humanity? Like, what are you, crazy or something? But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So we're going to stay tuned. There's my little hook. We're going to talk about that more in our episode today of Raise the Stakes. Quick background on myself. I've been carnivore for, I got to check my little day count, 305 days. 305 days.
Wow. Mine was 212, Kerry, just to be specific. 212.
212. It's completely changed my life forever. I suffered from clinical depression and anxiety for most of my adult life. For about 10 years, I was on every medication you could imagine. That's been the biggest game changer for me. That's the reason I'm here talking to JT right now. That's the reason I'm wearing this shirt, Healing Humanity. That's the reason I'm doing a documentary called Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. It's to help those hopeless people out there. I was so hopeless at one point in my life, and there's so many people out there right now, and it's so sad how bad the situation is right now. I had Dr. Georgia Eda on the channel. I said, how are we doing in terms of mental health? And she just looked at the camera and she said, it is grim. 40% of college students are suffering from depression. Everyone you know, like JT, just to think about everyone you know who doesn't have at least anxiety, if not depression. It's everywhere right now. So
anxiety about everything, relationships, work, what we're eating, what we're seeing on the news. You know, you can just tune on to the news at 6 o'clock and they're going to flash 16 different things in 2 minutes that are going to give you 16 different types of anxiety. That's why it's up to us to make those decisions, to not tune into that negative stuff and to tune into some podcasts like this where we're focusing on healing humanity, where we got the big picture in mind, not these small problems in mind. We're looking for the solutions on this podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. So hopelessness is out there. We want to fix that with the documentary. We want to get the word out because I have talked to so many people that were clinically depressed for years and years and years. They put the proper fuel in their diet. They ate the proper human diet and it changed so quickly for them. That was the reason for this. But then I was like, oh my goodness, people are overcoming obesity. So I'm down 100 pounds since my heaviest. I lost most of that on carnivore. I did a little bit yo-yoing on keto for years and years. IBS is completely gone. Sleep apnea, no more CPAP machine. That was life-changing alone. Aches and pains, and I had gout in my foot so bad I could barely walk. All those things are gone. And I've been going down the rabbit hole, and I've been so fortunate and blessed to interview some of these really smart doctors like Dr. Barry and Dr. Chafee, and shout out Dr. Tony Hampton. Like, these people are just amazing. And I'm learning more and more. Now I'm learning about the proper human diet and cancer. and how much more effective chemo is when you're eating the proper human diet. And it's just been incredible. So yeah, that's kind of my story, my background. Like I said, I'm the father of triplets plus one. My daughter Emma's doing the carnivore diet with me. The other girls have tested on and off. We're slowly getting over there, but I don't know what you're seeing, JT, but it's spreading like wildfire. I've said this before. My mom and stepdad are both carnivore. My younger sister, my older sister, both carnivore. My daughter Emma's carnivore. It's just, and then each of them, they're like their own little example. Now my mom is doing it. She's got people that her peers, they're coming, they're seeing what she's doing, and they're like, how are you so happy? Like, your knee doesn't hurt anymore? Like, what is going on? What are you doing? And they're starting to question it. Now she's a shining example, and it spreads. And I really think it's spreading like wildfire. It's just one of those things. People don't talk about it a lot.
Oh, it's definitely spreading like wildfire. You got celebrities doing it. Even my sister in the family, she texts me up and she's like, "Yo, I'm cooking grandpa some carnivore mac and cheese." And I was just like, whoa, where did this come from? Like, I don't bother them about it. Like they can go on my channel at any time they want, just like you guys, and hear me talking about it if they want. But I feel like it's best to just lead by example. And when you blaze that trail, you notice that there's a fire behind you that's been lit, like, and you start seeing like, oh, okay, nice, things are really starting to catch flame, but you got to blaze that trail first.
Right. And you are blazing that trail because you, my friend, are a deviant, a positive deviant. Carnivores are it's a good thing. It sounds so bad.
Okay.
I got a little clip. Should we look at the clip now, JT?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at this. I think you guys are going to really like this. This is just a quick little clip here I'm going to share. Here we go. And shout out, this is well, I'll shout them out afterwards. Here we go.
Vietnam faced an incredible challenge with child malnutrition that had basically been impossible to solve through traditional top-down means. They finally addressed the problem and solved it through a completely different approach called positive deviance. Start by actually going into communities and saying, let's find the examples of people in these communities that are positive deviants, meaning whatever problem you're facing, like malnutrition, there's some family whose kids are not malnourished, even though they're under the same constraints as everybody else. They discovered that these mothers were supplementing the meager amounts of food the kids had with shrimp. Well, those were freely available and widely available sources of nutrition. But what they found out was at some point, a norm had emerged in that community that said shrimp were harmful to kids. The mothers that were doing that were doing it in private. They didn't want anybody else to know they were, because they knew they were violating a cultural norm. It wasn't enough to tell people to feed their kids shrimp. They had to find these mothers and elevate their voices and allow them to communicate to other parents and break that cultural norm. But once they did, they made dramatic gains in child nutrition for decades. The fact that we're so hung up on top-down, expert-driven solution to everything is the only reason why positive deviance seems strange to us. But in reality, it's the only way you can ever drive social change under collective illusions that are rooted in cultural norms. If you understand that fact, and you create the enabling conditions that allow everyday people to reveal who they really are to each other, these illusions can crumble in a hurry, and social change can happen at a scale and pace that would otherwise seem unimaginable.
This series is brought to you by Stand Together.
All right, so that was, there we go. Oh, sorry. Okay. You were able to hear that okay, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounded great.
Yeah, so I did a little video on this yesterday. That was just a little part of it, but man, I love that. So it's so crazy too, because this gentleman, his name is Todd. That was Think Big. I'll leave a link in the description for that full video if people want to watch the whole thing. But he didn't have anything to do with nutrition, and the one example he gave just happened to be like, oh, carnivore fixed their problem. That wasn't the point of that whole story, but the point of the whole story was, we have these cultural norms that we all adhere to, and it's just like normal. But then there's a couple people that are deviating from that. JT, myself, most of the people here listening that are carnivores. But if you look on like a big bell curve, the majority of people, they think the standard American diet, they think eating sugar and processed foods, and they think the fact that everyone's obese, cancer rates are through the roof, type 2 diabetes is going crazy, heart disease is the number one killer. That's just the cultural norm. That's just the way it is. But you got a couple people on the edge, positive deviants, and they put their example out there. It's like, no, we're all under the same constraints, but look at these people that are just thriving. JT, myself, so many people here in the chat. That's what's going to change the world. I love that little chart they showed there, JT, with the little red dots filling in. That's like us. And some of those dots are bigger than others. Like imagine Dr. Barry's dot on there. It would be huge. Putting that example out there. So
and that jogs my mind that on next week, Friday, I have Dr. Chafee coming on my channel. And I've invited a couple other carnivore parents, people with younger kids, even teens like Jeff. And we're going to talk about exactly that. Getting our kids, feeding our kids what we know is the right thing, regardless of what everybody else is telling us. Even if we've got to do it, in our house and not the privacy of our house to be a healthy family. But that's very important to do what you think is best as a parent. So good for those moms. I love it, man. Mama knows best.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it was cool too, because the whole culture was against it. And then they started to see it. And now that whole child malnutrition in that area, it's completely gone. They completely changed it.
Right. It's shrimp, man. It's not like, like Starburst or Sour Patch Kids. It's shrimp.
Right. Well, and the thing that was interesting too, I dug into this a little bit more, but those parents that were feeding the kids shrimp, they were looked at, they're crazy. They're outliers. Why is that? Because they were going against the social norm. They were the weird ones. I encourage everyone watching this, be the weird one.
Absolutely.
It's so boring just going with the social norms and doing what everyone else is doing and just going along with the flow.
The crowd is boring. He's absolutely right. It's boring. Go the other way, right?
You're not living if you're doing that. It's like all the good memories and exciting moments of my life, they're adventure, or they're going outside of the norm, or they're doing something memorable. So
something that makes you nervous, even kind of something that makes you kind of scared, like those are the best memories. You go out with your friends and you go hiking in the woods and you're like, oh man, like you create good memories when you just make a decision and you just follow what makes you happy.
Like knocking on the door of a stranger and saying, can we cook you steak dinner? That's not a normal thing to do, JT.
And that's exactly why we're doing it. We got to get it. There's nothing wrong with preaching to the choir, okay? But it's nice to get out there. Like, I feel like Jesus wasn't about preaching to the choir. The man was always walking the streets and looking for who he could affect that maybe wasn't reading the Bible or something like that. You gotta, not that this is something like a religion, but you've got to go where people need help. So I feel like, why preach to the choir? These people most of the people are already on the diet. We need to help somebody who's not on the diet. It's very important.
Yeah. We did that, knocking on doors with strangers. So many people commenting, we want more of that. We want more of that. So people have a yearning for
next weekend, right?
Weird. Next weekend, JT's coming up to the world famous Montello Theater. We're going to go around the neighborhood, knock on some doors. I can't wait.
Yeah, we might knock on somebody's door who's watching. I don't know, because we don't know either. We're just keep a lookout, look out the window, hear a knock, look for me and Kerry. It might be us.
Yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully we get, it's funny that I'm hoping for it, but I think we'll get some more rejections because we didn't get any last time. The first door, they just answered and we went from it, but it'll be fun too to get someone that is maybe considering this, or maybe they just started keto, or they're dipping their toes and they want to learn more. A lot of people out there like that. So
we're going to get someone different every time. And I'm just excited to see who's the next person or family that we cook for. It's exciting. I'm addicted to it. Like it's like it's that type of content you want more of,
Right. Well, the cool thing is it's what we love, cooking steaks, but it's that deep personal connection. And I don't know about you, JT, but I'm having more deep personal connections as a carnivore now than I have my entire life, with no exaggeration whatsoever. And I was thinking about this more. I'm like, why are all carnivores so cool? And I used to say, well, it's because they're brave. You got to be kind of brave and crazy to be a carnivore because you're told your whole life don't eat meat. So maybe that's it. But I think what it is this. I think I'm figuring stuff out here. Before I was carnivore, I was sick. I was impaired. It was almost like I was drunk. I was eating the wrong food, putting the wrong fuel in my body, so I had this brain fog. My brain fog was intense, but I also had fatigue. I was tired all the time. If you're brain fogged and fatigued, you're basically impaired. You're just doing the social norm that we talked about before. You're just gonna do the I'm speaking for myself. I would just do the bare minimum, whatever I could to get through. The reason social norms are there is because the brain takes so much energy to function. It's easier for the brain to just be like, I'll just go with the flow. Well, now JT, myself, these other carnivores, we have so much energy, right? Our brain has all the energy it needs. So we're out there looking to connect with other people and make connections and talk to other people. Whereas before, I'm not going to talk to that person. It's going to take a lot of energy to try to stir up a relationship, a conversation with someone. I'm going to sit here on my couch and watch TV. So I think that's a big part of it is we actually have the energy to behave like a proper human. And you want to be connected with other people. So yeah, knocking on doors with strangers is fun on multiple levels, but making new friends and connecting with people, there's nothing better than that.
It's nothing better. It's nothing better. And going with the social norms, that's like living life in neutral. And when you do that, don't be surprised when you start going in reverse because you you ain't got the brakes on, you ain't got the gas on, and you might just start rolling backwards down the hill.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me, man. I was starting to go downhill fast following just staying in neutral there, following what everybody else was doing. Then when I decided to think for myself and actually put my foot on the gas, then we got up the hills. It was a journey that 30 days, but now I'm up over that, and now I'm just, man, it's like a cool ride down the ski slope. And this way going down is better when you see where you're going rather than going backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's life is so short to be I feel ashamed of myself for wasting it before just coasting through in neutral like you said. Like I tell people this all the time, just blink your eyes. Everyone watching this right now, listening, close your eyes for a second, open them back up. God willing, you're 95 years old right now. It's going to go by that quickly. And I'm so thankful right now that as a carnivore without the brain fog and with the energy and the motivation, I'm living in the moment. I'm enjoying the moment. Whereas before I was impaired and I was thinking about the past or worrying about the future. I wasn't ever living in the moment. So
That's one of the things I hear a lot from carnivores is like, well, I started this so late. It's like, hey, I always say better late than never. And there are people who literally have passed away and they never got a chance to try the diet because it was just absolutely too late for them. So I feel like, hindsight's always going to be 2020. You can always look back and see things way more clearly than when you look forward. But we shouldn't beat ourselves up for that. Just be glad that we're here. We're on the diet. We're taking advantage of the rest of the time that we do have.
yep. Yeah. So JT, you were talking earlier about preaching to the choir and how it's important to get the word out to new people. I think that was kind of one of the themes of our first episode 1 here of Raise the Stakes was talking about starting the carnivore diet, baby steps. Should we talk about that a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a ton of people in the chat. We really appreciate it. You guys got any questions or comments or discussions, anything you want to see us do or talk about? Let's do it. I guess maybe
QQ in front of it. It makes it a lot easier for us to read through and see the questions.
yeah. So carnivore baby steps. Here's one piece of advice. I actually gave this to my dad recently. My dad's like, I'm never gonna. He's basically like, I don't think I'll ever do carnivore. He'll come around eventually, maybe. But in terms of baby steps, one of the things I was telling him was, I'm like, just try a little bit. Like, for example, he was eating toast with margarine and jelly. What are you doing? And he was highly inflamed, like so much inflammation. I'm like, you're eating like a cocktail of foods that are going to inflame you and make you feel horrible. And they're going to cause all sorts of inflammation. You got sugar and you got seed oils. You got the bread. There's gluten, there's wheat, there's so much bad stuff. And I'm like, just baby step. Stop the toast and jelly, have some scrambled eggs and bacon. You're still going to do your other stuff throughout the day. If that's what you got to do for a baby step, that's a really good step in the right direction and making it getting you closer. So that would be one. I always tell people too, like if you're going to do carnivore, some people just jump right into it. I think the better advice is to start baby steps. Do keto first.
That's what Rick says.
Yeah, I did keto on and off for years. I consider keto like 20 carbs or less. Then you got ketovore, which some people say is like 10 carbs or less. You could start that way and then go down, down, down until you get closer to carnivore. I always hesitate with that because some people just jump right in and they're fine, but a lot of people jump right in, they get the keto flu, they get sick, and then they're like, it didn't work for me, I can't do it, and it's hard for them to want to kind of restart. So I don't know, some baby steps that way I think is a good idea.
I got an interesting one the other day. I had a lady comment on my video, and she said she's a vegan and she wants to start carnivore diet on February 1st. But she says the problem she's having is that she doesn't like seeing the raw meat in the blood. And she said then she starts thinking about the animal dying and stuff like that. And she's like, any advice you have for me? And I told her, I said, that's actually very interesting issue you're having. I said, what I suggested to her is that maybe instead of you cooking your own food for your first week or two on the carnivore diet, maybe try to go to like Wendy's or something and just order the burger patties. That way someone else handles the raw meat and the blood for you. And that way you can start your diet on a positive note of, man, this meat is juicy, it's buttery, it's good. And then when you start getting that hunger for the meat, I think you'll be in a better position to start handling the meat yourself and cooking it yourself. Like, what do you guys think? Was that a good tip for someone who is trying to start carnivore, or what would you guys suggest that person?
Yeah, good stuff. The only thing I would add to that too is work your way into it. Try eggs if you're a little squeamish with the meat.
Or
Man,
cheese.
eggs are so underrated. I've been going nuts on eggs lately.
I love eggs, man.
I haven't had any bacon, JT, in I think 8 days now, 9 days.
Now we got Todd in here. He knows something about eating a lot of eggs.
Oh yeah, shout out.
Here, you guys check out the YouTube channel, The Carnivore Cure. Todd is just, man, him and Bill and Rick. Sorry, Kerry, but they're like my favorite carnivores. I'm telling you, man. They're just such great guys, just genuine people, and they've got a lot of knowledge. So definitely check out Todd's channel here.
Yeah, shout out Todd Carnivore Cure.
Thank you for the dono.
Yeah, thank you so much. Every penny that goes to my channel that goes to the Healing Humanity documentary. Todd said, when my dad was at his final days, I asked him what he would have done differently, and he said, I wouldn't have spent so much time worrying about problems that never happened. Live without fear and anxiety. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you can worry all day, and then who knows? The Lord was like, well, it was never going to happen anyways. Why'd you waste 5-10 minutes worrying about that when you could have been hugging somebody and kissing them? So
5 to 10 years, JT. Yeah. No joke, man. The amount of anxiety I went through my whole life, and I knew it too when I was going through it. None of those things ever came to fruition. What a wasted time. And you talk about the time, 5 to 10 minutes or 5 to 10 years if you aggregate it all together. Don't even think about the time. Think about the toll that takes on your body. When you're anxious like that, your adrenaline's going, your energy's off, your wavelengths are off, your heart's pumping and working harder and harder. Do it long enough.
All heard it, Kerry. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. It's like being in a dark room and you hear a couple noises and you flick on the light and it was actually just a mouse that scurries away. But, without the light on, you're like, oh my gosh, what's in the room? So it's all awareness too. You flick on that light and you can take away that fear in your life. You don't have to waste any time.
Right. JT, I used to tell myself that too, because I was like, why am I anxious? There's no reason. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. But I was still anxious. And I tried medications. I tried everything. I know I'm not trying to push the carnivore diet, but it's the only thing that helped legitimately. I've heard that from so many people.
You're not pushing. You're not being paid by the carnivore diet.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know the carnivore diet Illuminati, but you're just telling your experience, and that's what I'm doing too, man. I can just tell you guys what has helped for me and how I feel, and it's up to you guys to make your own decision and jump on the carnivore because we're still early, man. We're 19 days into the new year. There's a lot of time to jump on this diet and get that health you wanted and get that dream body, or what do they call it, the beach body for the summer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
let's go. Yeah, I just want to add too, JT, I totally agree with you. Some of my favorite carnivores, Bill, Todd. Todd is just awesome. For those that don't know, if you're not watching Bill's channel, you guys are missing out. If you're not watching Todd's channel, Carnivore Cure, you're missing out. But Bill not. My goodness, Todd helped Bill so much. It was just some really good advice and some tips and some things that Todd had gone through that are helping Bill. Bill's last video, I never had a bigger smile on my face than watching that video.
He looked so happy, didn't he? Like, you could tell he's got all his ducks in a row and they are just quacking with delight, man. It's something to watch, I'm telling you.
It is. He's so excited. I was texting with him leading up to that video too. He's like, I'm so excited for summer. He's like, I don't know if I'll be ready or not yet, but getting the mountain biking out. He's like, Kerry, I don't know if you know, I used to go mountain biking a lot. I'm like, yes. I love all these things. I legit, like, I don't know. I've never cried so much my whole life as I have as a carnivore. Tears of joy, but it'll just come like this emotion. And when Bill was talking about it, I'm like, I was tearing up. I'm like so happy for him. Not just the fact that he's so excited for the summer, but the progress he has made in 6 months is incredible. It's incredible. Not just the weight loss, just the very fact that he said depression, anxiety is gone. He said, I have my life back again. I'm like, man, I said this in a live stream or something yesterday. I'm like, this is the last 305 days, JT. It's been incredible. I'm so thankful, grateful, blessed for it. But it's been a ton of work. Like, I was looking back, I'm like, what did I think I've talked to like maybe 150 carnivore individual interviews, like 7 or 8 of these good doctors, several times with some of them. Traveled to Canada, Alaska, Canada again, the other side of Canada, Chicago, all these live streams, all this editing, everything. It's been a ton of work. All of it has been, if all of that went away, it's all been worth it just for this whole Bill story, Bill relationship, Bill's progress in 6 months. It's totally been worth it just for that alone.
You know, and you and Bill, all that came from making a decision. You know what I'm saying? Bill made that decision to comment. You made the decision to respond the way you did to his comment. And then he made a decision to respond back and say, okay, let's get this going. And that's the power of a decision. It can change your entire life. Just making a committed decision saying, I'm doing this not for anybody else. I'm doing this for me because I want to feel good. I want to love myself again. And there's nothing selfish about that. I'm telling you guys, you should just love the heck out of yourself. My coach always said you should kiss yourself. You should really love yourself. Yeah.
100%. Bill, if you're watching this now, or you might watch it later, you got to have that message too, Bill. You should be so proud of yourself. Not just the fact that he made the hard decision to do it, but he made the incredibly hard decision to, I'm going to just put this out on YouTube and try to inspire other people because I'm a good guy, despite everything in my body is telling me I don't want to put myself on camera. I don't want to put my story out there. As if it's not hard enough to completely change your life forever, your diet forever, going against everything you've ever been told, but then saying, I'll put myself on a camera. Like JT, for you and me, we've been doing YouTube for a long time. Doesn't seem like a big deal. For someone like Bill, he's never done anything like that before, which is also incredible too, by the way, how freaking good at it he is.
He's like amazing, man. He's
a natural,
man. He's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out Todd Bachner's awesome channel and Bill. What was I going to say? I was going to have one other thing. Oh, I wanted to question JT.
Absolutely.
There's been a few pivotal moments in my life where I feel almost like God was telling me, you have to don't do this, do that. We're talking about decisions, a path in the road. I'll just share one really quickly. When Jen and I first met, we were 14 years old. And I didn't like her. We met at a mall. My cousin introduced us together. Mayfair Mall, not far for you, JT.
Yeah, I used to go to Mayfair all the time.
Yeah, so we were walking back from the mall to my cousin's house, and there was a path that went to my mom's house. That's where I was staying, and there was a path that went with my cousin. I'm like, I just don't like this girl, Jen. She's weird. I'm going home. I started walking down that path, and I'm not exaggerating on this. It was the most powerful thing in my brain. It was just like, no, turn around. You got to go the other way. And I actually snuck through this little trail, and I went a different way, a little shortcut, and then to my cousin's house. And then Jen and my cousin came around the corner, and I was sitting on the porch. And I swear, if I didn't make that decision, I got triplets plus one now. My whole trajectory, my whole life would have been there. That was one time. I got one other time in my entire life. I'm 43 years old that's happened. Have you ever had that happen?
Absolutely. Yeah. Starting carnivore was one of those decisions. Honestly, seeing your video and deciding to get just as excited as you did about this diet. That was one little tiny clear one like that. But just to go back to your story quick, I'm glad Jen didn't hold it against your ass, man.
Right.
God bless Jen, man.
Right.
Yeah, no, there would be times in my life where you'd meet somebody and something just tells you like, hey, I'm going to be in this person's life, and you don't understand it, but you just go with it, and it making friends that way. And it's a beautiful thing when you can get in tune with your intuition. And we
Yes.
all have intuition. Now you hear they say, well, women have better intuition than men. My coach taught me that's just not true. We all have great intuition. It's just a matter of listening to it, listening to those little cues, and you got to be listening to pick up on them. Like if you're tuned out and not focused, you won't hear it anyways. But yeah, I've had those moments, honestly. And also too, you can also, like, one of my spiritual gifts is discerning of spirits. So I get that with people. Like I can pick up on their energy and be like, okay, I either do want to continue interacting with this person or I don't. And it's an internal thing, and you just gotta keep sharpening that blade.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't really think about that. We were talking so much about how important decisions are. Your life is a result of the decisions you make. Wisdom can guide those, but also intuition. Uh,
Yeah, you gotta intuition is like when you pray, that's you talking to God. Intuition is when God speaks back to you.
mm,
He's trying to guide you, and you got to be open. And that's one of the things I do in the morning. I count 10 things I'm grateful for, and then I say to myself that I please give me the silence I need in my mind to hear what you want to do, how you want to guide me for the day, Lord. And that's one of the things that's very important for me to have that silence.
See, this is what I was talking about earlier with JT, wise beyond his years. I love what you just said there. Intuition is God speaking to you, because I really feel like that is what happened that day, because it was so powerful. Like, this is a matter of life or death. You got to go back there. Don't go home and change this. And I really believe that changed the trajectory of my life. I still now I'm like, I don't really question why. Like, I want for nothing in this world. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. Having children is obviously the biggest blessing in the world. And I was blessed to have triplets at one time, which was just the most incredible moment of my entire life. And is that the reason why I was given that intuition, that message? I think so. That probably had something to do with it. I think there's more that's yet to come that I haven't realized yet for that reason as
Well,
well. But
that's like doing a quantum leap, or like portal jumping, or literally ripping the timeline. That's what the power of a decision. Making a decision does all three of those things. When you make a decision to do something different, you get out of that for lack of better words, that matrix. You make a new decision and get out of that normal routine you're in. You've literally ripped the timeline, and you're now into a new timeline. So if you had not made that decision, Carrie, you'd be in a whole nother timeline.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It's
Yeah,
amazing, man. We wouldn't be talking right now had you not made that one decision.
yeah. Well, the only other time, well, I've had intuition or things like that here or there, but nothing ever that powerful. The only other time was back to our good friend Bill Knott. When I started talking to him, it was just like, you got to connect. This guy, he's like a brother for you. Gotta, this has to happen. This thing with Bill, it was so powerful, and I'm so thankful for it now. And it doesn't have anything to do with, oh, we're doing healing humanity, and Bill's a big part of that. I've told Bill it's unconditional. If Bill messages me right now and says delete every clip that you filmed me for the documentary, I want nothing to do with it. Bill and I are still best friends for the rest of my life. It has nothing to do with that. It's just we just have this connection being through that hopeless depression, and the way he was speaking to that, I'm like, I have been exactly where he is right now. I was there for years and years and years, and I know this is the answer for him. And yeah, it was the craziest thing when Emma and I went to film him for the documentary. I'm like, Emma, what the hell are we doing? This is some dude off the internet. 3 weeks ago was the first time I even heard the name Bill or anything, and now we're traveling across the globe in a plane. We were driving to his house 2 hours in the car. I'm like, I don't know. This is a good. What kind of parent am I bringing my daughter to a stranger's house? We don't even know what we're getting into here. It could just be a
Oh,
fraud or
it
something.
was meant to be, man. It was meant to be, and that that magic that you were feeling, that's all captured on film now, and we're all gonna get to watch that magic and feel it for ourselves when this movie's done, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be awesome.
I'll stop rambling about this, but I love that you just said that because that was one of the most magical things I think I've probably ever been a part of. And shout out to my daughter Emma who filmed it. But 20 minutes out from Bill's house, I'm driving the car. Emma pulled the camera out. We had it on the gimbal and she started filming. I'm like, you're going to roll this. It's going to be some of my favorite movies of all time. One of them is Goodfellas. There's a shot in there where they don't stop rolling. There's no cuts. It just goes for like 20 minutes. I'm like, we're going to just do this and whatever happens. So Emma filmed me. It was so tense. We're like, 10 minutes away from Bill's house. And I was just we're talking about what we're going to talk about when we get there. 5 minutes away from Bill's house, 2 minutes away from Bill's house. We get to Bill's house. I don't even know which one is his house. I open the door. Emma keeps rolling, follows me, knock on the door. I go right into his house. It's all one cut. It's 20. It's like my heart's beating right now because it was so carnivores don't get nervous, but I'm like the gravity of that situation was so huge. But yeah, long story short, that was I can't wait to share that that with people. It was incredible how it worked out. And shout out to Emma. She was so nervous, but it all really turned out good. It wasn't an easy task transferring from the car outside and then into Bill's house, and we'd never been into it
She
before.
did such a great job. I'm telling you, she's a natural.
Yeah.
Like I was not doing that well when I was her age. I was out screwing off, man. I was definitely not filming a documentary, that's for sure.
Right. Well, she filmed chatting with strangers, knocking on strangers' doors with us too. Afterwards, she's like, "Man, I wish I would have had the gimbal. I wish I would have had this." But hey, next Saturday, let's go. We got another round. Emma's
And
gonna
next
come with us.
Saturday, Carnivore with Strangers. I cannot wait, man. I can't get enough of the content myself, so that's why I'd love to make some more, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And we got some other ideas planned as well. Some other fun stuff we can get into
Ooh,
outside the box. Right? Interesting, fun,
absolutely.
weird. Break
Yeah,
the
you
social
gotta
norm.
feel like everybody just take those little boxes we got off our heads and then look around and be like, man, and start moving around, start doing stuff, you know? Start living.
Right. So sorry, I kind of took us I took us down a little bit of a different path there. We were talking about carnivore baby steps. I gave the example with my dad. The other thing that I would suggest anyone considering carnivore that's new to it, do your research. That is the beautiful thing with technology these days. There's downfalls to it, but there's so much great information online. I know JT, you and I have talked about this before. A lot of people are fearful to start carnivore, and fear is often just a lack of knowledge, but the knowledge is out there. It's all available. Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Hampton. You're scared about, oh, what about heart disease? What about fiber? What about I'm going to get scurvy? All of those have been asked and answered. You just got to do your research, and then you're not scared anymore, and you can jump into it. So I always
It's like
encourage people
turning
to do
on
that.
that light, like I said. You're like, oh, okay, there was nothing to be afraid of, you know. That's what awareness is. It turns on that light in our mind, and it helps us be a lot more confident when we make a move.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That is speaking of fearfulness and anxiety. That's one of my biggest things that I love as a carnivore. I don't know how it is for you, JT, but I interviewed Lauren yesterday. That video is going to go live Saturday. Lauren, I think she changed the name of her channel, but it was Farmer's Wife Carnivore Life. She was on the 24-hour live stream. She's from the UK. She's awesome. The most remarkable thing she said to me in the interview, and she said it twice, was, "I'm just fearless now. I'm living literally," and she's like, "I'm not bragging. It's just the truth. I feel that way too." And like, what a gift that is to live your life with no fear
But she's
whatsoever.
healed. She's healed, man. And when you feel healed, like we do, man, you do feel fearless. You don't mind jumping on in front of the camera and telling people your experience because it's not a lie. It's not a made up story. You can speak with confidence, and that resonates with people because you've actually had that experience.
Right.
Yeah. So good for her.
Yep. Heal your mind and the body will follow.
Hmm.
So JT, what you got some exciting stuff going on. We talked about the stranger knocking on doors with strangers. JT's coming up. We're gonna do that. Probably have some other videos around there. I've got a big mental health live stream with Dr. Georgia E, Dr. Tony Hampton, and Dr. Anthony Chafee, and my buddy JT is going to come on and share his testimonial. That is January 30th. It's not scheduled yet, but it'll be out soon. But what do you got going on? Don't you have a video coming up today?
Well, let's see. No, not today. Next Friday. Next Friday, I've got Chafee coming on, and we're going to talk about kids on the carnivore diet and how important that is. So that's amazing. I do have a I thought we were talking lives. I do have a video actually drops in about 15 minutes here. It's about how the carnivore diet literally saved my life. I had a near-death experience before the carnivore diet, having sleep apnea and not being able to breathe. I thought I was a goner, but I totally healed all of my issues. Honestly, I believe within the first 30 days, they all went away. So, I mean, to me, they're healed then when they're non-existent. So that video is coming out whenever we're done with the stream. You guys can go over to my channel and check out my story on how the carnivore diet saved my life. It's a very meaningful video to me, and hopefully it can inspire somebody to save their own life, and like you said, to not waste that time, that window of time where we weren't treating ourselves right. Let's limit that window and get right on the diet. It's important.
Love it. Yeah, that sounds like a great video. I'm looking forward to watching that one. Anyone that's watching from my channel, there's a link to JT's channel below. Make sure you're subscribed. We got 237 people on here right now. Let's go. Tomorrow, I have a live with the Carnivore brothers, Ashley and Rhett. Those two guys are awesome. I'm so fortunate. We did the Chicago meetup. I was able to meet them in person. They came all the way out, which was so nice. But they've got two incredible carnivore stories. I love Ashley's story too. His dad got back into his Boy Scout uniform.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I shared that on the 24-hour live stream. So looking forward to doing that one. Yeah. And then Sunday morning, I'm doing one with Dr. Chafee. It's going to be a lot of fun. 10 carnivore superpowers. I'm going to go to Chafee. I'll be like, these are like, it's crazy. Some things that people report on carnivore. What's the science behind some of these?
You should ask him if carnivore diet has a kryptonite.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, that's a superhero question right there, a superpower question.
I love that, JT, and he's the best. Obviously, he's so good at answering those questions. But I want to get into some of that stuff too. Some more of the personal stuff with Dr. Chafee. I think it'll be fun. We're going to talk about carnivore superpowers, and why. Like just asking him, for example, did you have a favorite superhero growing up? Stuff like that. Get a little deeper with Dr. Chafee. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
That reminds you, everybody put in the comments, what is your favorite superhero growing up? Kerry, what was yours? I think I know, man. I think I know. Can I take a guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Batman?
100%. Yep. I was gonna say. In fact, so the Dr. Chafee, I don't have it in front of me right now, but if you guys see the thumbnail, it's Dr. Chafee and me, and we look like two superheroes with a stake on our chest. It's more like Superman, but yeah, exactly. Dr. Chafee thought that was funny. But initially, I used this AI program to help generate the images, and I tried to make it Batman and Robin. And of course, he's going to be Batman. I'm going to be Robin. But the AI thing wouldn't let me do it. It was like for licensing reasons we couldn't. But yeah, Batman was definitely mine. I remember the original Batman with Michael Keaton. Oh, I love that one. It was so cool because the Batmobile had all the little gadgets and the stuff flying off. I was like, that car is so cool. Then they had some weird Batman movies, and then the Christopher Nolan one came out, which I really enjoyed those ones. But yeah, what about you, JT?
Batman was my favorite too, honestly. It was the yellow logo. Remember the yellow with the black bat on it? Like that was, and I think my favorite one as a kid was the one where Arnold was Mr. Freeze.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
I do. Yeah.
That was a good one. I was like, as a kid, I was like, dang, Batman was just he had the suit, man. He had the attitude. He had the car, man. He had the action scenes. He had the villains who didn't like him.
Yep.
Batman was the best growing up.
Yeah. And then the Christopher Nolan one that came out with Christian Bale. Oh man, that was so good. That first scene, the bank scene. Yeah, some good stuff. Hey, should we take some questions?
Hey, we got a Daffy Duck. We got a Mighty Mouse. Another Mighty Mouse. There you go. Superman. Okay, I like seeing what your
Daffy.
guys'
I was gonna say what's Rick's Daffy Duck.
Daffy Duck. I think.
Love it.
Oh, we got a Hulk. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there
Hulk
we go.
was good. Yep, yep. Which is your favorite Hulk? That's the question.
Right.
The original Hulk was pretty buff, man.
Hey, we got a new member, TNT. Thank you so much.
Oh, that is TNT. That's dynamite, man.
Scooby Dog became a YouTube member.
Ellen, she's a new member. Let's go, Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen. Look forward to meeting in person, cooking some steaks up. Anyone that becomes a member, every penny from that goes to Carnivore Diet Documentary. And every Thursday, 3 p.m. Central, we do a members-only live stream. And I'm also trying to do more members-only content, like when we go out and film Jeff DeProsperous or film for the documentary. We'll give you some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah. If you're not a member, man, you're missing out on all that exclusive content. You can click on it, but it won't play unless you pay.
Yep. Crystal Sugar asked, what time of day do you eat your first food or break your fast? What do you do, JT?
I usually eat around 10 a.m., 11 a.m., something like that. I don't eat like right away when I wake up. I'm like one of these people that like, I don't know, like I need my car engine on for a while and it warmed up. The heater warmed up before I'm all ready to go, ready to eat. Other people can jump out of bed and just immediately go right towards the fridge, but I need a little bit. So I got to wake up, shower, and all that good stuff, and then usually by the time I'm rolling, I am very hungry.
Yeah, about the same for what time is it now? Usually right around now, 11 a.m., something like that. Sometimes Jen will make me my new go-to. I'm not doing the bacon, so she'll make me a power bowl with no bacon, which is just scrambled eggs and ground beef. Here's my little trick. We were talking about starting carnivore. Some people, they don't like the texture consistency of ground beef. Crisp it up, put some butter in it. JT and I got Culver's out here in Wisconsin. They do the like smash butter burger and the edges get crispy. That's how I like my ground beef. Jen makes it so good. Mix it up, change the texture a little bit. So
it's all about the edges at Culver's. Oh.
Hey, I'm getting called out here. Beyond Citizens. Why didn't Kerry ever reply to my email? I did. Actually, I just double checked this, JT. So,
Citizens.
4 days ago, I sent you, I'll read it to you right now if you want. I said, you got this. My best tip is to understand your why. Set a goal and say, I'm doing this for 90 days. I sent you a long response, Beyond Citizen. Maybe recheck your inbox. I'll resend it right now. I got your pictures.
You're sitting in the spam.
Yeah, maybe it went in your spam folder. 10:04 a.m. Monday, January 15th, I emailed you back, and it was less than 24 hours after you emailed me. So check your spam folder. Maybe it went in there, buddy.
Let's go, citizens. Let's go.
Yeah, I hope you read it too, because I sent you a very long and thoughtful response. And if other people email me and I miss it, maybe send it again. I'm pretty good at not missing things, but please also understand, I get a ton of emails from people. Every single day, I get essays and essays of emails. Some people are going through stage 4 cancer, and so it's a lot to keep up with. But I try to answer all of them if I can. CJ Sanders, do you know why I'm plateauing around 216? Been here about 3 days, only losing maybe 0.1 a day.
Plateaus. Me and my wife were just watching something where the person was explaining that plateaus are when your body, at least to this, at least to my knowledge, is when your body hits a prior weight level that it was at some point in your life, and then it feels comfortable at that level. You got to stick to to what you're doing, stick to the diet, and then eventually, like my wife was in a plateau for about a month. I was in a plateau for like 2 months. Where the body just doesn't want to give you anything. It gets used to the carnivore diet. It likes whatever weight you're at, but you got to bust through that plateau. And it's probably just, like I said, a weight that you might have been at previously. I could be wrong, but just keep sticking to the diet. And I guarantee you're going to bust through that plateau like it's nothing.
Yeah, 100%. I always tell people when you plateau, just try changing things up for a little bit. Try lion diet for a couple days, maybe do an intermittent fast, see if it, usually something like that will help.
Throwing some more eggs.
Man, I'm getting all sorts of, I'm getting yelled at. Life's Resurrection Project. Thought you were looking for people that cured cancer through fasting carnivore. We tagged you, so reach out. I subscribed to your channel and I left like 2 comments on your videos. So I'll definitely be in touch. But yeah, I appreciate what you're doing for sure. I did subscribe, and I think I left a pretty long comment
Yeah,
on
and
one
if
of your
you'd
videos.
like to share your story on either mine or Carrie's story, especially mine, I've got Chatting with Carnivores. That's my other podcast. Just hit up Poko Moonshine Family at gmail.com, and I'd love to share your story, and then we can get you out there.
Yeah, same. Homesteadhow@gmail.com. Marcy asks, do you think working on upper body exercise is more important than an aerobic exercise? I guess it all depends on what you're trying to achieve and what your goals are.
Marcy, I would take out upper and just put out body exercise, because it's important to work the whole body, especially us fellas, man. It's easy. We get always working upper body, then we walk around with these chicken legs.
Right?
But not just for the look of having chicken legs. You do want to have a strong core, strong legs. You want to be able to especially like if you're going upstairs or something with your groceries, or you never know what life's going to throw at you. So you should be strong all throughout your body. So I
Yep.
would say just exercises in general is important, even if it's aerobic or not. So as long as you're exercising.
Mona Fig Tree, 8 months carnivore, Kerry, because of you. Oh, thank you. I healed my eye and lost lots of inches. No more CPAP, no more arthritis, no more inflammation. Good job.
Oh, no more
Congratulations.
CPAP. I love that.
Michelle, $5 super sticker. Thank you, Michelle. Every penny to the carnivore
Michelle,
diet
thanks for
documentary.
Poko.
Do you supplement electrolytes? Oh, I think they're asking someone else. If so, try keto before jumping into
I like
carnivore.
that. Cranky Carnivore. What's up, Cranky?
Love it. Nice. Uh, Let me see. I think I got through the questions that I starred. Do you see any more in there, JT, that we missed? Oh, here's one. Would cutting out Coke Zero help my weight loss, speed up on carnivore?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I always like to tell people, I can't tell you what's going to work for you, but if it was me, I would cut out the Coke Zero. I did cut out the diet soda. There's artificial sweeteners in there. They can really mess you up, and it feels so much better. Like for 300 plus days now, it's only been water. Some people are like, I need my coffee. I need my diet soda. Once you get over that addiction, I was horribly addicted to Diet Coke and Diet Mountain Dew. Once you get over that addiction, it goes away forever. It's so nice being in total control. Not being like, I'm in total control, but nah, I got to have a Diet Coke. I got to do this. No, I don't have to do anything. I guess I got to drink water. I'm going to die, but it's not because of some weird addiction that I have to it. So
It's tough, and I feel like a lot of people, at least me for a while, I was between beer and soda, I was actually drinking more calories than I was eating. And some of the sugar replacers and other things that they put in these sodas are not good. So my coach taught me about the law of polarity. I was just talking about it earlier, the yin and the yang, the hot and the cold, the up and the down, the positive, the negative. I would use the law of polarity to get yourself making good decisions. So, if there's water and then there's Coke, you know, use the law of opposites. Stay away from that side and then go towards the water, and you're gonna be cruising, man, in no time.
hey, Beyond Citizen, they got my email. All right, good.
Let's
Wasn't
go,
losing my mind.
citizens.
All right. Well, I think I got through. Do you see any other ones in there I missed, JT?
Will you be doing a new 24-hour live stream? I thought you were gonna ignore that one.
Is there a delete button on these comments?
The carnivore boss, she got him.
There isn't currently a plan, although, like I mentioned, we're doing the mental health depression one at the end of the month. It's going to be several hours long, but we don't have anything slated for another 24-hour. And that wasn't 24 hours, by the way. That was 27 hours that we did.
Yeah, because
I want to add that little.
We just he kept going.
Yeah. I'm so glad we did that though, because man, I look back on that, JT, and I'm like, what the heck were we thinking?
It was epic, man. It was epic.
Yeah.
You don't want to look back at your life with regrets, and then because regrets will haunt you year after year, man. They'll keep flashing up like a ghost. We don't want to be haunted, man. We got to go for those big things and do them. That way we look back and be like, man, we could chuckle about it. Be like, yeah, that was fun.
Right. Speaking of what we were talking about earlier, don't conform and be weird. Doing a 27-hour live stream is a pretty weird thing to do. So it's definitely memorable. Something I'll never forget my whole life for sure.
Me too. And the impact it made too. It's we needed we need those funds for the documentary. So And
Yeah.
we got a lot of them that day, and we still continue to need funds, but that day definitely made a big dent in
Uh,
what we were trying to accomplish.
100%. Like that propelled us to then go on and film well, a bunch of people, but including was Maggie after that? I'm pretty sure she was. We filmed Maggie in Canada, and then we did Dr. Hampton in Chicago, which was crazy. Like we had an Airbnb where we basically set up a studio with 2 cinema grade cameras. Like it was nuts. And then Jeff to Prosper. So yeah, all of that was a result of the fundraising from the 24-hour live stream for sure.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to remind people like how special it is to be in this moment of time where you guys are aware of this project and we get to support it as it goes along, and you get to see the project, okay, now we're filming Bill, we're filming Dr. Hampton, Maggie, Jeff, like you get to see this thing like almost like a big behind the scenes thing. Like how many other movies do you get to be that hands on and get to help donate and to just push the movement? Like it's this is one of the, if not one of the most special things I've ever been involved in, honestly, besides the like getting married and the birth of my son. Like this is up there for me
Yeah.
because the impact this is going to make on the world, and life is like a blip on the map, man. We don't live long as humans. That's why my coach always says, like, this ain't a practice run. We get one shot at this thing. Every day you wake up, this is your one shot. This is your life. We got to get to it, man. And man, what better way to get to it than to make a carnivore diet movie and to just make a huge, just cannonball right on Netflix, just splash everybody with this. And they're going to be like, whoa. I'm telling you, I can't wait to start seeing carnivore restaurants popping up, just carnivore options popping up all over the place. You're going to start seeing signs where they want carnivores wanted. It's not in a bad way, like we want the business, like butcher shops putting that in the window, like it's going to change, and I'm here for it. My gramps is 93, he's ketovore. Imagine all the changes he's seen in his 93 years. Imagine the change we're going to see once this drops. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Right. Yeah. Well said. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Either one's going to happen. So you better start make that decision to live life and not let life live you,
Yep.
Renee, thanks for the dono. Let's go.
Thank you, Renee. Yeah, Rick said so many vegan propaganda movies already out there. That's one of the things I'm very proud of and looking forward to with this one is no propaganda, no bias. That one that just came out on Netflix. Even vegan proponents are watching that one and be like, oh my God, this was just sponsored by Beyond Meat. It was completely slanted. And the thing that's upsetting with that is I know so many people that go down that route with a good heart and good intentions, and they end up spending years just destroying their health. And it's hard to turn back from those things. It's very hard to do a documentary that doesn't have some sort of sponsorship or bias that way, but ours does it. This is crowd-funded. We're putting it together. This isn't sponsored by Kellogg's or a sugar company or Beyond Meat with some sort of agenda that we have to adhere to.
The best projects that make the biggest impact, in my personal opinion, are the ones that are privately funded. Because as soon as you get these big dogs in there with their big money, they've got their big agendas, their big intentions that maybe we don't have share those same values and thoughts and intentions. So it's important to have this privately funded. That way this thing can have the proper intentions and make the biggest impact it can. And I have a quick question here since we're talking about the movie. My boy Rick is on the screen here. He's Rick, the 40-year carnivore. He says he does not watch movies. I'm very curious. Are you going to watch this movie, Rick? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments, Rick, because you say you don't watch movies. Are you going to watch this one? I hope so. Even if I got to buy you a Netflix subscription, bro, you're watching this thing.
Awesome. What do you say? Oh, we'll see what Rick says. And we keep saying Netflix, like Netflix was initially, how can we reach the most people? That's on Netflix. There may be a way to reach even more people than that. One of the things we're exploring first is Angel Studios, which means the film will actually be in movie theaters first before it even goes to a streaming platform. So our goal is even bigger than initially. I know a lot of people get fired up about Netflix. whatever, like people are like, I don't agree with Netflix's politics or this or that. I probably agree with a lot of things you're saying in that regard. I don't care about any of that. My only goal is to reach millions of people. If that's
It's
on,
about the platform and the reach that that platform has. Does
yeah,
that make sense, you guys? And Netflix is not going to change our hearts. They're not going to change our minds, our intentions. It's privately. That's why I said that's the importance of it being privately funded. That way, it's done our way as carnivores, as a community, as how we want this done, and we don't have these big dogs representing us in a way that we wouldn't want to be represented. I
get,
do watch documentaries when I can access them. Sucks as Super Size Me. Oh yeah, yeah, such as Super Size Me. Yeah, Super Size Me. That's like, man, that's one of the most popular food docs out there ever.
oh, we got a vegan in the comments. Should we address this, JT?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Let's
You know,
see.
I ain't mad at no vegans. Half the
I'm not
people
either.
I have on my podcast are ex-vegans. So you pay someone else to murder animals that you swallow so you avoid guilt. No, I have no guilt. Honestly, I have no guilt, and it's not coming from like a conceited thing or anything. I didn't waste that animal. That animal helped me survive, and a lot of the side effects from being vegan or vegetarian, you know, with the pesticides, they're killing so many birds and they're killing so many insects and small animals like rabbits. Then you got the coyotes that eat the rabbits, and it's this kind of domino effect, you know. And I know vegans have great intentions, you know, to not hurt animals, and I love that. Like I've got dogs, I would never hurt them, eat them, whatever. But there are unfortunate side effects to the vegan way of life, you know, and and I'm not saying you guys intended to have those side effects happen, but you know, when you buy spinach and it gets shipped from Mexico all over the place, and you've got pollution, and then these half of these greens come packaged in plastic, and then the plastic goes in the earth. I'm just saying there's room for all of us to compromise, and the vegan way of life isn't perfect, and I suppose the carnivore way of life isn't perfect because an animal did get killed, but my point being that animal that got killed did not go to waste. You know, like unfortunately with the pesticides, these animals die, and you can't even eat them. It's not healthy to eat. So we're eating these animals, and their life has not been wasted at all.
Yeah. I got to be careful because I'll go off on a rant, but I agree with what JT just said there. 67 million birds die a year from pesticide poisoning. I don't contribute to any of that. I get a grass-fed cow from my neighbor. One cow dies, I get hundreds of meals. I love the fact that vegans are compassionate. My daughter was vegan for 5 years because she was compassionate and she loves animals until she realized that the facts matter. It's not about the emotions. It's an emotional thing to say. If you want to be alive in this world, it's the food chain. It's just the way things are. Other animals are going to die, whether you're vegan or carnivore. How many other animals do you want to die? I believe that if you're vegan, many more animals die, and sadly, they suffer.
And I
67.
hate to say it, they die anyways. All of us, whether you can say murder, okay, but to me a murder is when you just kill something and then leave it there. You know, you just killed it to kill it. So I think first of all, I just don't like that term murder because we're not murdering. Murder, like go watch a horror movie. Jason Voorhees isn't cooking these people up and chewing on, yeah, he's just murdering the people. You're just killing them and leave them. That's not what we do with the cow. That's not what we do with a pig or a chicken. When the animals life comes to an end, most of them have really good lives on the farm, and I heard one farmer say every day on the farm is a good day for those animals except for their last day. And it's not like you could say just because that's the last day that they're alive, but telling you it's not as bad as you think. Murder just means that you just killed it for no dang reason, and that's not what we're doing as carnivores. We're eating, we're surviving, and there's no murder about that. That's called hunting
Yeah,
and
and
surviving.
the truth and the facts matter. If you want to live in this world, other animals are going to die. The 67 million birds that die per year, sadly, that's a horrible, painful death from poisoning. And
But they'll
then,
die anyways, though. It's my point, Kerry.
right,
Everybody, every animal, and every person on this planet will die eventually one day. Me included, Kerry included. We're going to be dead one day. That's just death is just part. It's a transition. Okay, death and birth. The law of polarities. You know what I'm saying? Birth is when you transition into this existence, this experience of life, and
Right.
death is when you transition out. So they're both very similar. We cry for one, we celebrate the other. We're humans, that's natural. You get attached to something, and then when it leaves you, you get upset. But they're really, in reality, they're both transitions, and we all are energy and spirit, and energy can't be created or destroyed. So all those animals, the energy and everything, it's still here. You can't create or destroy it. So it's a
Right.
beautiful thing when you know the natural laws of how things work, and you know in your heart that you're not just murdering an animal. Like, it's not like these cow mutilations you see with the UFOs or something, where they just straight up butcher a cow and leave it there, and that poor thing got tortured, and these animals get killed very fast. And maybe not all places. I understand that some of these big industrial places kind of treat animals a little sketchy, and that I don't support at all. But if you go to a local small grass-fed beef farm, I'm telling you, those animals live in great lives on a beautiful farm, and they have a blast, man. Like my local beef farm, you should see the cute little donkey that runs around with the horse. It's just such a great farm to be at. Like, go
Yep.
to a farm and visit it. I think might change your opinion as a vegan.
Yeah. Shout out Hoosier Carnivore. We're compassionate carnivores, humanely harvest one cow. We eat hundreds of times. We honor our animals. Something has to die for any of us to eat wherever we are. I totally agree with that. And I guess we'll just leave it at that. But if you truly care for animals and you want the least amount of animals to die, yes, factory farming is horrible. I'm not supporting that. Go find a grass-fed cow that's raised naturally. You eat one cow, you get hundreds of meals versus what most vegans are doing, my daughter included, eating a salad with all these different vegetables. Countless animals are dying. So if you truly care about the animals, you can't make the argument that the compassionate carnivore diet, eating a grass-fed cow that had a natural life, died. It's the most compassionate way of eating. I don't know how you could actually argue about that. I agree. Factory farm, mass produced animals, there's all sorts of problems with that.
And if more people went carnivore, there would be less pesticides getting sprayed, and there would be less animals dying. Those animals get sick and die. You can't even eat them. So that's literally death and destruction at its finest. Like, just when you just let animals get sick and die, like, that's our responsibility as humans, because we're the ones who are poisoning these poor little things. So we got to look at the bigger picture, not just at these small things like, well, this person murdered. Well, we didn't murder the animal. We killed it, and we're going to harvest it and eat it. That there's a complete difference. So you got to look at the big picture. And I know the big picture is like the vegan lifestyle has some flaws. Now, I look at the big picture too. They don't have that intention. So I think vegans have great intentions. They really do. But we have to look at the facts, look at the bigger picture, and look and see what we're actually what every action has a reaction, my coach taught me. So if we're going to spray pesticides, that action is going to have a reaction in the environment. And that's just a fact, unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah. And I get kind of fired up and passionate about that because I've seen so many people that have a big heart and they're like, I'm going to go vegan, I'm going to eat plant, and then they suffer so bad. My daughter included, my wife. I've seen so many people go down that road. Like, how many carnivores do we have that were former vegans? It's incredible the number of those. So people do
They're
it because
suffering, the animals suffer. It's a lot of suffering, man, on in that way of life. And to each his own. I choose not to suffer. I feel that I choose to eat a food that helps heal my body and makes me feel good.
Yep. Awesome. Hey, we covered everything in today's podcast. Let's go.
Absolutely.
All right, JT, what do you think? You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just wanted to bring up the fact that we started this podcast. We want to have fun and connect with the community, and you know, we're going to have these discussions. I think they're important. I think. Thanks for the dono, Reed. What the hell? 67 years old, 45 days carnivore challenge, down 31 pounds. Nice. Psoriasis 80% clear. Knee joint pain gone. No more Advil. Yeah, I haven't taken any ibuprofen or anything since I started carnivore. Sleep unbelievable. Feel best ever. Thank you for your vids. Wow, this is unbelievable. See that that's why we started this. There's so many people starting the carnivore diet, and they're feeling the change in their body, and then they're getting excited and they want to help other people change. So I hope all you guys support this podcast, because together we can raise our voices and we can have these good discussions. I invite vegans to tune in. I honestly, I love it. We don't want a one-way decision or a conversation discussion. So I invite everybody in all different viewpoints, and we can talk about those as adults, and we can hear each other out, and that's how you learn. How else do you learn unless you hear each other out and listen to each other? So listen to your friends, listen to your family, listen to the vegans, listen to the carnivores. Everybody just listen to each other and hear each other where they're coming from, and we can make progress.
100%. Yeah. Thank you for that super chat too. Appreciate it. Awesome. I think we got all the questions.
Yeah. What a launching episode, you guys.
Yeah.
Woo!
This was a lot of fun. Leave us some comments below if you want to see something else, something different. But what, we're going to do this every week, JT?
Yeah,
Fridays?
every week. And just before we go, I would like to do a carnivore roll call. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys watching right now? I like to know where the audience is. I saw Tennessee. Me and Kerry are in Wisconsin here. Let me know. It doesn't matter what state, country. Let's do a carnivore roll call, and we can end it on that one here. So I think that we got Crazy Canadian. So I'm assuming that's Canada. We got a Denmark, Louisiana. Let's go. UK, Ohio,
Texas,
Texas,
Kentucky,
South Carolina, Pennsylvania,
Norway,
Texas. Yeah, Texas.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let's go. JT's got the shirt on.
Yeah. Packers are still in somehow.
Saturday. You watching it, JT?
Yeah, I like watching playoff games. Ohio, man, we got carnivores all over. Australia, Louisville, Ontario, Norway. I'm seeing a lot of Texas. Montucky, Todd. Minnesota. It's cold like Minnesota. Indiana. Man, I love doing carnivore roll calls. Belgium, Netherlands. Yes, Crazy Canadian Carnivore. We are reading the comments. We love hanging out with you guys, man. We do not take having you guys here for granted, man. We want to give you guys something fun and positive and engaging and informative. That's our goals here. Ecuador, let's go. Florida.
The other thing that I think is going to be fun with this JT Raise the Stakes podcast, we're going to try to do it every Friday, same time, so you guys can kind of expect it. Like, oh, it's Friday. We got those crazy knuckleheads, JT and Kerry. Let's go check it out again. So
yeah, you don't need you don't need those other morning shows, man. I'm telling you, just tune in to us, and you're gonna have a fun time.
Jeff,
here's a question: can we mail you money for the movie? I don't do Google for money.
Shoot me an email. Yeah, I'll give you the details. homesteadhow@gmail.com. I appreciate it. Shout out my buddy Jeff Glaza from Wisconsin. Good friend of mine. Gave me a big thing of a liver the other day. I still got Jeff. I haven't had the liver yet. I'm a big baby. I haven't had liver my entire life. It's in the freezer though. I'm gonna break it out one of these days.
Put
JT,
it in your meat grinder and grind it with the ground beef.
JT's coming up next weekend. JT, let's go. You up for some liver?
If you put it in ground beef.
No, straight up. Let's go. Come on.
My Gramps 93, man, and maybe that's why he's 93. He absolutely loves eating liver. So maybe that's a little tip for you guys. He's 93 on Ketovore and he loves eating liver.
Jeff is a really cool carnivore. He's got a pond. He was showing me a video. He did like the Wim Hof cold plunge into the pond. I think he had to like hit it with a sledgehammer before jumping in. I met him playing pool, which I haven't really talked about too much, but that's one of my little sides. Do you ever play pool, JT?
I was holding the pool table and someone smacked my finger with a cue ball. So that kind of turned me off from it. I was like, I'm all good, man.
That's it. You're done?
That was it, man. Otherwise, no, I never really played. I never hung out like the pool halls. That was like a different generation. Like by the time I was young, like it was mostly all like Nintendo.
Yeah.
And not too many not too much pool. But my parents, man, they were always in the pool hall and stuff.
Yeah, there's a cool one not too far from here, and I met Jeff there, and he's an awesome pool player. And then it turns out he was there, and then someone else was like, they saw my video, and they told Jeff, and he's like, "Oh, I watched that dude. Oh, wait a minute, that dude's from here, Kerry. Oh, Kerry's played pool here before." And so now every now and then we'll connect at the pool place together. So it's pretty awesome. But
It's awesome. I
good
do
guy.
got a question for everybody in the chat before we go. Do you think the aliens were really at the Miami Mall? Because everybody's talking about the Miami Mall aliens, like, and it's just going viral, man, everywhere, and it's crazy. You know, like there's always security cam footage from like a mall shooting, dash cam. You know, they'll have the dash cam, they'll have the police cams. There's no footage anywhere. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's suspect. They said no, nah.
With all the
Man.
cameras out there, come on, someone's
No
got
aliens. Okay, so you know, and I always wonder too. Like you always hear about the aliens sucking up the cows off the farms. I wonder if they're carnivores, like from the future. Like
That should be that's our next episode, JT, next Friday.
carnivores from the
Our
future.
aliens carnivores.
Hey, there you go. Yes, honestly, man, I don't know. Whatever. I like to have fun with it, you guys, and I'm glad you guys are here.
Aliens might be on the menu.
Hey, we might be on the menu. There's actually a movie called To Serve Man, and it doesn't mean to help us. It meant actually to serve us up for dinner.
Awesome. Well, hey, this has been a whole bunch of fun. Next Friday, Raise the Stakes. We'll do another episode. Leave us some comments. But right now, JT's got a video, right? Go check out JT's channel.
It dropped at 11. You guys go over and check out my channel. It's a very important video to me, man. It's about how the carnivore diet literally saved my life, man. And I've mentioned my buddy Kerry in it. So Kerry, thank you for sharing your story, buddy, because it helped me get my life back, man. And I'm forever in your debt, man. Appreciate you.
Well, I'm glad it worked out because now we got to meet, and now I got a new knucklehead friend to hang out with. So Providence for sure. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. And thank you guys for coming and supporting me and Kerry's podcast. This is episode number 1. Vegan and carnivore, you guys have been awesome today. This is fun, and I love you guys, man. It's an honor to be here talking to you guys and entertaining you. So love you guys. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye.